Oh. That's Dave's copy.
Oh, here we are. Oh, we're 1 minute late. Call to order. We do have a quorum. There's only 3 of us here tonight, but there is not a lot on the agenda. First order of business is to accept the minutes of the January 18th regular meeting. Moved by Melissa and second by Lauren. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, minutes are approved. Visitor comments and petitions. I see Linda Gillies on the call. Linda, do you have anything you want to bring up? I don't. Linda, are you there? Do you want to say anything? Hearing nothing, moving on. And if you want to say something later, feel free to chime in. Ferry service update. Big news is that the state of Maine received a huge grant to build an electric, or I guess it says a hybrid ferry to replace the Margaret Chase Smith, which is great news. It's roughly $30 million. And the idea is to build a hybrid ferry that can run all electric when the infrastructure on the land side is ready. And then if, for example, the power is out and they can't charge, they can still run the boat because there'll be a diesel hybrid option. And so, and also, I think there was some concern about servicing some of the electrical components and whether they could do that locally or the boat would have to go further afield and need to spend more time en route, and that the reality of charging along the way was not going to be ideal. So those were the thoughts, is my understanding. I know John King has spent a lot more time on this than me, but that's generally what's going on. Great news for the ferry service, potentially a much cheaper boat to run that's paid for by the federal government and its infrastructure package, which seems great all the way around. Any questions on ferry service update before we move on? No questions. Sea level rise update. I did talk to Shay just before the meeting tonight. We did not have a sea level rise update. They're interviewing candidates for the open position right now, and that's where we are. Municipal building project update. Lauren.
I have no update for today.
No update. All right.
The only thing I would say at this point is we have $913,604.
Great.
I wrote on your thing. Another 1,000 came in today. That's why.
Great. Linda, are you here to talk about this? If you're speaking, we can't hear you. I'll just assume that you're not.
She's not muted.
Not muted.
Okay.
Anyway, upcoming meetings and subcommittee reports. Planning board, February 6th at 5 p.m. Town manager's report.
Excuse me. Is the bird on here? Who's gonna call in? So I've given you the agenda for tonight, and then we revised it to add in an executive session for a concealed weapon. Maine Community Foundation sent their 2022 year-end statement of the health center's endowment, and we currently have $1,464,307, of which in this next fiscal year we'll ask for a distribution of $57,240. This current year we took 56,810. We were allowed to, and that was as much as we could.
How much did we take? Sorry.
This year we for the health center we've taken up 56,810, and for next year's budget I'm taking 57,240. And if you look on, I've given you the statement, and it shows amount available for distributions, and it shows down below, they call it a grant. We received it in March, that 56,800.
Where's the, oh, I see now.
I might not have highlighted everybody. All right, Fred Porter reported that the ferry captains have their state phones and he's collecting numbers from them. I know he's got HG's number, and he's revising his protocol sheet, which I'm going to talk about that maybe tomorrow. And I didn't, until it's complete, I didn't bring it to this meeting. And then I had mentioned about that climate friendly ferry service that send out I'd forward it to you. I know I received it from 2 or 3 people, Maggie and Mark Higgins and so. So the warrant for number 16. So for my report, next week I plan on sending out the FY24 budget requests, and budget workshops will begin March 1st and every Wednesday in March if needed. Generally, we do have a review and, so that's 5 Wednesdays. I wanted to report that the town truck, I think it went out of service before. We've had 2 storms. I think it went out before the first storm. Something with the engine, Jordy, he couldn't drive it. He could get it to the mainland, but it wouldn't make it up any hills on the Beltway to Belfast, so it had to get towed up to Corks. And so he checked on it today, and it needed new plugs, coils, and wires. And they were gonna do another road test tomorrow, so it should be ready by Friday. And I was gonna update you on the ban, the bond anticipation note that we had talked about, and you had signed some stuff, and there's more stuff that Alyssa had sent to me. But after talking with Vern, that's why I thought he might come on if he had anything to say. And the town's auditor, I'm deciding, unless you want this to go through, we don't need that right now. We're going to use the money that we've already taken in donations, and the auditor said, that's a great idea. You should really spend that money. So I've talked to Camden National, and there's no problem with just either canceling it, or we could just let it ride, and it will expire June 30th, and if we haven't touched it, there's no cost to us to do that. Yeah, so this $912,000, it's more than enough to, if we get a bid and if we go forward, it's ample for that, plus whatever the architect's fees would be. And we will, go forward with the fall bond, application, because what they need is all your bids in place. Like and their deadline was February 8th. And I said to her, the lady at the bond bank, our deadline for receiving bids is February 14th, so we weren't going to make it anyways. And that's just one part of it. I said, we're far away from, maybe by summer, we'll have the bid for the health center. I don't know for sure. But anyway, you have to have that in hand before you apply for that. And again, I didn't think, and I don't know if anybody else thought, that we would have this much in donations coming in, flowing in so quickly, this amount. It's amazing. So.
Have they given you a checklist of all the things that you need to have to apply now? That way we can make sure that you.
Oh, yes,
they're in
no,
place
yeah, we
now.
have an application. Well, I have
And this
that.
wasn't listed on the application that, like
We didn't get the
dates?
application till about a week ago.
Okay.
So it came after we decided we needed a ban. So that's it for me.
Any questions for Janet about this or anything else? Hearing none. Correspondence, there is none in the packet. Old business, new business, other business. Now's your opportunity. Anybody here? Carrie, new business? Nothing from Carrie. Next on the agenda is to approve warrant number 16 for fiscal year 23. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Moved by Lauren, second by Melissa. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The warrant is approved. No appointments. I think I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056F and sections 2006 to consider a concealed weapon permit renewal.
So moved.
Go ahead, Janet.
Oh, go,
Moved by
okay, yep.
Lauren, second by Melissa. So at this point, we are going into executive session and we should turn off the Zoom meeting and perhaps shut the door.